I think I'm live. Hey everyone, I am doing a Facebook Live for the first time for this mini lesson this month, and I'm excited about that. So, all right, welcome to everyone who is watching this live, all of you who are either in the Vibrant Body and Abundant Life Mastery program or Connecting with the Divine You program. And welcome to all of you who are watching the replay of this mini lesson for Vibrant Body and Abundant Life Key number 1, You Are Divine. And in this short mini lesson, we are going to be talking about self-acceptance, self-connection and self-acceptance, as well as your desires. And so that's pretty much what we're going to be doing in this lesson. I'm going to guess it's going to be 15 to 20 minutes. I'm also going to be talking about what blocks us from connecting with ourselves and accepting ourselves and our desires. So we're going to have a little bit of content, a little bit of, I guess you'd call it wisdom, and then some tips and tools to help you get started. And for those of you who want more support, you can find the options below this video. All right, let's dive in. So, self-connection and acceptance. Why is this key number 1 to healing and receiving anything in your life? So, I believe from my personal experience of healing MS and anxiety and depression and weight and pain and everything else that I dealt with, that being disconnected from myself was the number 1 cause and progression of all of the illnesses that I suffered from. So, connection from self, and I would say spirit or something bigger, whatever you call it. So that put me on this path, right, of looking at connecting with all these different parts of myself that I was disconnected from. So when I talk about self-connection, there are several areas that we're going to be focusing on. The first area is connecting with your desires. So what it is that your heart, your soul desires. And that's going to be our focus primarily for this video and this month. But we are also looking at connecting with other parts of ourselves as well. Our breath, our body and its feelings, our emotions, what beliefs we hold about ourselves and the world, relationships, really beliefs related to all 7 life areas. And then, of course, connecting with our something bigger, whatever you happen to call it. So, why is it important to have acceptance when you are going to connect with yourself? So I'm going to kind of move into some of the blocks right now. I'm feeling guided to do that next. So there are a couple main reasons why we don't connect with ourselves. One of those reasons is that we really don't like ourselves. A lot of us don't like who we are. And some of us, we were taught not to like who we are growing up. A lot of us, we weren't accepted, and so we don't accept who we are. And if you don't accept who you are, all parts of you, you are likely going to not want to connect with yourself. That's just the truth of it. If you don't like who you are, why would you want to connect with yourself? That's why the self-acceptance piece is so important. Okay. Another big one for a lot of us is we don't take the time. Right? We actually don't take time to connect with ourselves. We are busy. We are busy working too much. We are sucking our time with people pleasing, doing everything for other people, not taking time to connect with ourselves, and in this case, what we desire. Another piece of that is also, let's see, time is a big one, right? So I just mentioned that. The what I call the superwoman or superman, you're too busy. You don't have time to connect with yourself because you're always busy, doing, whether it's work or socializing. People pleasing, I mentioned, right? So we often spend a lot of our time on that, our time, money, and energy. And I would say that those really are the 2 big ones. And of course, what kind of goes along with that is perfection. So a lot of us don't well, we might connect with our desires and know what they are, but we might not fulfill them because we're either afraid of what other people are going to say, we don't make the time for them, or we don't think we're going to do them good enough. Especially when it comes to our purpose and our passions, we don't think we're going to do a good enough job, we're not smart enough, etc. So then we don't move forward in following our desires, following our guidance, and fulfilling our desires. So I would say that those are some of the main blocks to connecting with ourselves and then knowing and following what our desires are. So let's move into our desires. Okay, let's move into those because that's really our focus this month. And then next month we're going to be moving into our body and our emotions, accepting our bodies and our emotions. So let's talk a little bit about our desires. When I talk about those, I really look at 7 life areas. Okay, so our self-talk or our self-connection is the first area, and that really is how do we talk to and treat ourselves? What do we say to ourselves internally and out loud? Okay. The second area is health, mind and body. The third area is spirituality. The fourth area is what you desire in terms of love and relationships. Okay. And then we move into our passions or our hobbies and our purpose career. And last is money and material. So what do you desire in all 7 life areas? And I'm going to talk a little bit about what some of the blocks are to specifically to discovering what our desires are. A lot of us have been taught that you can't have what you desire. You don't deserve it. You're not worth it. And so you may not even dream big. You may not even go there because you've been taught that. Maybe you've desired things in the past and they didn't happen. Especially as children, when our desires were neglected or they were shot down, right? Don't be ridiculous or be logical, be reasonable. Those sorts of beliefs, I guess, they can really block you from even discovering what it is that you truly desire in all 7 life areas. So, and some of us will go there and we'll actually write down what we desire, but then what happens is we don't take actions towards that. Okay? So the first step is even just to discover what you desire. And then the second step would be taking actions to fulfill those. And those of you who are in either one of the programs that I mentioned, you have a specific document to help you with that process. Okay? So it can be really fun. It can be really exciting. All right, had a little reminder pop up on my phone. So this can be something fun. What do you desire? And play with it, right? Play with it, have fun with it. And I would say just don't take it so seriously, right? And dream big. Allow yourself to dream big when it comes to what it is that you truly desire in life. You know, one example that I really love to give is in terms of relationships. So I was taught growing up that you can't have everything in a partner. So you can't have, I learned that you can't have both stability and passion and love, right? Like passionate love. And I know that a lot of my clients, maybe some of you listening, have had that as well. So, again, as you're writing down what your desires are, and I'm kind of getting a little bit into the write and reflect section here, the tips and tools, I do recommend that you actually take time to write down what your desires are. Don't let them swim around in your head. And those of you in my program, use the document that you guys have. Okay, I highly recommend it. It makes it a little bit easier. Number 2, when you're writing those desires down, pay attention to the voice in your head. What blocks, what beliefs, what fears come up as you write down what you desire? Things about worthiness, deserving, I can't have that, that's selfish, that's greedy. Really take note of what beliefs, what that voice in the head is saying. And from that, you're going to discover what beliefs you're holding that can hold you back from discovering and or co-creating the desires that you have in all 7 life areas. And a little side note here, one of the things I've noticed, not only for myself but with my clients, is we have to be careful that the desires that we write down aren't somebody else's. A lot of times we write down what we think we should want or what we should desire in our lives. Things that maybe our parents wanted or that you're supposed to want in your culture or society. Yeah, so I call those ego desires or other desires. You want to make sure these are your heart/soul desires, not your partner's, not your parents', not your other friends'. You want to be wary of that. You want to be cognizant of that. Because that's something, again, as children, we took on what other people desired. And so many of us aren't even sure. We don't even have a clue about what we desire. So for a lot of us, that's going to be the first step, is just connecting with ourselves and discovering that. Let's see, what's next? If you're not making time for your desires, again, why? Are you struggling with super syndrome, superwoman, superman syndrome? You're too busy for your desires. Are you busy taking care of everybody else? That could also be super syndrome or people pleasing, right? Maybe you are afraid to take actions towards what you desire because you're afraid someone else isn't going to approve of it, right? Or you're just used to putting yourself last. A lot of my clients struggle with that as well. Let's see what else in this area. So getting clear on what you desire and looking at the beliefs that you hold that might hold you back from taking time to discover what you desire or actions. Write those down. And then you want to write down what are the opposite truths to those. Okay, so if you've been working with me for a while, you're probably pretty used to doing that. If this is new to you, you don't have to believe the opposite truth. You just have to write it down. Okay? And then I'm going to tell you what to do with those in a minute. Oh, let's see what else. I think that's good for now. And then, so once you discover what you desire, awesome. You want to then maybe write down a few little baby steps that you can take and schedule those in your calendar. And then what are you going to do with those blocks and beliefs and those opposite truths? Number one, I recommend that you write down the opposite truths on Post-it notes, or you can schedule reminders in your calendar, whether it's paper or electronic, and write those opposite truths in there. The more that we focus on our desires, the more likely we are to make time for them and co-create them. And the guided meditation practices are huge for planting the seeds for our desires and also to shift or reprogram those limiting beliefs and the opposite truths. The guided practices are also just great. So for relaxing mind and body, to help clear out emotions, to help connect with and accept all parts of you. And we'll get into that more in the upcoming months. But for today, again, we're just really focusing on self-connection, acceptance, and our desires. So I think that's a good place to start. And then, of course, for those of you who want more support from me, there are options below this video if you're not already in a program with me. Another great place to start too is my Connecting with the Divine You book that just came out on February 12th. So you can find that on Amazon, and I'll also put a link for that below this video as well. The other options are Connecting with the Divine You program, or if you want the whole enchilada, all 10 Vibrant Body and Abundant Life keys, you can join me for Vibrant Body and Abundant Life Mastery. So again, progress, not perfection. Again, don't let that perfection hold you back from co-creating what you desire, regardless of what area of life it's in. And just be really gentle with yourself. As far as taking time daily to reflect on what you desire, using the tools that I gave you to start with today. And of course, those of you in the program, you're going to get a lot more tools and tips. And I think that feels good for today. Another thing just popped in. Money can often be a sexy excuse that can hold us back from moving forward with our desires. The I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money is another common one. And it's pretty interesting because you'll find a lot of you who are watching this may say, I don't have the money, but where have you been putting your money that is really not in alignment with your true self? Have you been giving it away to other people? Have you been just not spending it consciously? Again, do you think it's selfish to spend money on yourself? Okay, so those are some big ones that are related to money that can hold you back from co-creating what you desire. When I'm talking to potential clients, that's a big one that comes up a lot, right? I don't have the money to work with you one-on-one, or I don't have the money for your program. And I would say 8 times out of 10, most people do have the money, but they don't think they can spend it on themselves. So yeah, that can be a big one for a lot of you. So have fun with this, of course, playing with your desires, looking at what's holding you back, and then beginning to use those tools. So to get started. Awesome, you guys. I look forward to seeing those of you later this month who are in my programs. We're meeting live on March 21st in our group call, and then I look forward to seeing all of you that are one-on-one with me this month as well. So I'll see you soon. Bye.